Hey guys, it's 6 a.m. and we're up again early this morning. I don't know why everything in this country has to start so early in the morning, but that's the way it works. So we are scurrying around, trying to get 5 people ready, trying to get some coffee in everybody, get everybody moving, because we're going to go do something pretty awesome today. We're going to actually go see an ancient Mayan sacrificial site. If that's not cool enough, National Geographic has called this one of the most sacred archaeological sites in the world. So this is going to be pretty epic. Let's go do this.
This is the Mayan River and the Maca River, and they come together to form the Belize River. It's like marriage, two becomes one.
This is probably one of the most underrated attractions that you can do here out in the jungle in San Ignacio and Belize. I mean, the only way I could describe it is if you took like spelunking, rock climbing, swimming, and mixed it all up with some Indiana Jones. That's really what you're doing on this thing. And I'm gonna let the kids kind of tell you their reactions of what this was, but this was a super, I mean, just awesome, extreme thing that you can do here, plus learn a little bit of history on top of it. I think this is probably one of the most fun things our kids said they've ever done with us. So, but I'll let you hear it from them.
Okay, so going into the ATM cave, I knew it was going to be culture, and going to that cave, they always talk about the skeletons at the end, because that is one of the big selling points. It's amazing seeing history in that way. And it's kind of just the raw part of history. It's not the easy version. It was a sacrificial chamber, so that was cool to see. But what I was not at all prepared for was, it's like I think they were saying like 2-kilometer hike through the cave, and hike is not a good word for it, because it's more of a climb and swim and
crawl. You're
maneuvering through waters and cracks, and then going in was the easy part. Coming out, they say, okay, let's take the fun path, and that was literally sliding through little crevices with waterfalls and landing in water where you can't touch the ground, and you're just floating through crevices and making your way along the wall. So it was definitely, it's a good experience for if you like for me, my 2 biggest things, I like history and I like adventure, and you get both there, because you have to kind of adventure. Yeah, it's with a guide, but it is an adventure because you're crawling through crazy stuff, and the guide a lot of the times was way ahead, so it was kind of...
Yeah, it was a good chance to research, because a lot of people were coming and not being prepared at all. They're like, oh, we'll be in water up to our knees, and, you know, didn't bring like socks. Like, we had to wear socks, and we were swimming for parts of it, so it's a good thing he did the research, because you aren't told a lot going in.
Going into it, it was definitely more vigorous than I expected. You definitely want to be wearing something comfortable, something you can move around in really easily, because you're going to be climbing on rocks, going through crevices, all sorts of stuff like that. But it was a really cool experience. I'd recommend it to anyone that's going there. I felt like a kid again, climbing on all the rocks in there. But just be prepared.
With the history portion, once you actually get there, there's just a lot of information the guide would have and tell you that you otherwise wouldn't know. They were telling us even about drawings that they found in other Mayan caves and other Mayan ruins that were all closely related. They're not just showing you a skeleton and going, look, it's a skeleton. They're telling you about everything and knowledge that they pulled from different areas, and archaeologists that have come in that they've actually talked to, so they're giving you the authentic, real information.
But it was super fun. It was an experience that I've never had before, and it is like an extreme hike, but it was so much fun that I even forgot about the actual ruins, the skeletons at the end. Like, we got there and I was like, oh, I even forgot about this. Like, I was having so much fun, like, going through the cave. And it was, I mean, it was long, but it was a lot of fun.
The first thing we did was jump into a pool of water that was so deep, it was like we were in over our heads literally, and I wasn't so sure. I was kind of nervous. Honestly, I'm kind of glad I didn't know all the details before I went in, because if I would have heard, you know, rock climbing or anything like that, heights, you know, it wasn't too high up, but if I would have heard that, I probably would have opted out of this and I would have missed this whole experience. Honestly, the guides make it very safe and you're just fine when you're in there. They're very good at guiding you where to put your feet and your hands and what not to slip on and what boulders to watch out for. And so I would just say go for it. It's so worth it. This ended up being the best experience to spend with my family because it just turned all of us into kids again. We had a blast. And I'm just so glad we did it. I would recommend this is the best way to teach your kids history too. Honestly, if they're teens or above, it's probably the best time to take them. You know, the youngest would probably be 10 years old because it is challenging at parts, and I guess it depends on the kid, you know, if they're a nervous kid or if they're fragile and you're not so sure, maybe wait a few years until they're teen to do it, but totally worth it. Awesome experience. Talk about adventure. It was great.
Hey guys, like Jenny said, there's not a lot of video footage or information on what you're actually going to be doing on this tour, what it looks like on the inside of the cave, what the strenuous things are that you're going to be going through. So we hope this video provided you some value and gave you a little idea of what that is. All I can tell you guys is that we didn't even capture a tenth of the adrenaline, the adventure, and the excitement that you're going to do on this tour. It is a life-changing experience, and I will tell you that it's one of those things that we're going to remember for the rest of our lives. I can tell you, if you're in San Ignacio, if you're thinking about doing this, don't hesitate. Book this trip, book this tour, because you will not regret it. And until next time, guys, stay crazy.